The email arrived on a Tuesday morning. Subject line: Invoice, dinner, 11:15. I opened it thinking it was spam, one of those phishing emails designed to look official. It wasn't spam. It was from my nephew, Marcus, 26 years old, the kid I'd raised since he was 6, the boy who'd called me Aunt Claire when he was little, and basically my second mom when he got older. The invoice was itemized, professional, generated through some app called Splitwise. Guest dinner, main course, $32. Guest dinner, wine pairing, $18. Guest dinner, dessert, $12.50. Guest dinner, overhead, utilities, table setting, $24.84. Total due, $87.34. Payment terms, net, 15 days. I stared at my phone for a full minute, waiting for the punchline, waiting for the "just kidding" text that would surely follow. It didn't come. Instead, 10 minutes later, another text. "Hey, Aunt Claire, did you get the invoice? No rush, but wanted to make sure it didn't go to spam. We're trying to be better about tracking expenses now that we're homeowners. Hope you enjoyed the dinner." I sat down, right there in my kitchen, still holding my phone, still trying to process what I was reading. He'd invoiced me for dinner at his house, the house I'd helped him save for, the house I'd co-signed the mortgage on when his credit wasn't quite good enough. He'd charged me $87.34 to eat salmon and asparagus at a table I'd helped him buy. And he thought this was normal. My name is Claire Morrison. I'm 52 years old. I live in Portland, Oregon. I've been a nurse for 28 years. ICU, then ER, now back to ICU because the ER was killing my knees and my faith in humanity. I'm single, never married, not because I didn't want to, just because it never happened. The right person never came along, or if they did, I missed them somehow. Work was always busy. Life was always complicated. And then, 20 years ago, my life got even more complicated. My younger sister Rachel had always been a mess. Not in a charming, quirky way, in a genuine, I don't know how to be an adult way. She got pregnant at 22 by a guy who disappeared the moment he found out, had Marcus at 23, tried her best for 6 years. But trying her best meant leaving Marcus with babysitters who didn't show up, meant forgetting to pay rent and getting evicted, meant choosing boyfriends over groceries, meant Marcus showing up to kindergarten in dirty clothes, hungry, exhausted. CPS got involved when Marcus was 5. Rachel called me sobbing. "They're going to take him. Claire, they're going to take my baby. I just need help. I just need someone to help me." So I helped. I took Marcus for a few weeks while Rachel got her life together. The few weeks turned into months. Months turned into years. And Rachel never got her life together. She moved to Nevada with a new boyfriend, then Arizona, then back to Nevada. She'd call every few months, promise she was coming back for Marcus, then disappear again. By the time Marcus was 8, he'd stopped asking when Mom was coming back. By the time he was 10, he'd stopped mentioning her at all. He was mine. Not legally. Rachel never signed over custody, never formally gave up her rights. But practically, emotionally, in every way that mattered, Marcus was my son. I raised him. All of it. Every scraped knee, every science project, every heartbreak, every triumph. I was the one who showed up. And I did it without hesitation, without resentment, because he was a kid who needed someone, and I was someone who could help. Because family takes care of family. Because you don't do things like that expecting payment. Or so I thought. Let me tell you what 20 years of raising a child looks like when you're not prepared for it. When you're 32 years old with a 1-bedroom apartment and a job that works 12-hour shifts. First, you move. Because a 6-year-old can't sleep on your couch forever. I found a 2-bedroom apartment in a good school district. Rent was $400 more per month than what I'd been paying. I took extra shifts to cover it. Then you buy things: clothes, a bed, sheets, a desk for homework, school supplies, a winter coat, snow boots, rain boots, because this is Portland and he'll need them 9 months out of the year. You enroll him in school. You meet with teachers who look at you skeptically when you say you're just the aunt, but you're the primary caregiver now. You fill out forms, so many forms: emergency contacts, medical history, permission slips. You take him to the doctor. He hasn't had a checkup in 2 years. He needs vaccines. He has cavities, 4 of them, because Rachel didn't believe in fluoride or regular dental visits. That's $1,200, even with insurance. You learn to cook for 2. You learn what a 6-year-old eats: chicken nuggets, mac and cheese, pizza. You learn to hide vegetables in pasta sauce. You learn to make lunches at 11 p.m. after getting home from a shift because he needs to eat at school and you can't afford cafeteria meals every day. You help with homework every night: math, reading, spelling. You realize your own education has some gaps when you're looking up what is a noun at 9 p.m. because you genuinely can't remember and the 3rd grade homework sheet is confusing. You go to parent-teacher conferences. You sit in chairs designed for children and listen to teachers tell you Marcus is bright but struggles with focus, that he seems anxious, that he asks about his mom sometimes, and the teachers don't know what to say. You take him to therapy, a child psychologist who specializes in abandonment issues. That's $150 per session. Insurance covers some of it. You pay the rest. You become the tooth fairy, the Easter bunny, Santa Claus. You stay up until midnight on Christmas Eve assembling a bike because every kid deserves a bike, and you're determined to give him a normal childhood, even though nothing about this situation is normal. You go to school plays, soccer games, Boy Scout meetings. You're the only parent there under 40. The only one who looks confused when the other moms talk about kindergarten graduation like it's a major milestone. You smile anyway. You clap the loudest when Marcus walks across the stage in his paper hat. You throw birthday parties. 8-year-olds running through your apartment screaming, cake everywhere. You spend $200 on pizza and decorations and party favors because you want Marcus to have what other kids have. You want him to feel normal. You deal with the school calling when he gets in a fight, when he pushes another kid who said something about his real mom not wanting him. You sit in the principal's office and advocate for him. You explain his situation. You ask for understanding. You promise to talk to him. You talk to him. In the car, driving home, you tell him fighting isn't the answer, that words can't hurt him unless he lets them, that he has a family who loves him. You're not sure he believes you. You're not sure you believe you. You pack his lunch every morning for 12 years. That's approximately 2,160 lunches: sandwiches, fruit, crackers, a juice box, a note sometimes, when you remember, telling him you're proud of him. You help him learn to read, to write, to do long division and fractions and eventually algebra and geometry. You sit at the kitchen table for hundreds of hours, working through problems, Googling explanations when you don't understand it yourself. You attend every parent event, every conference, every awards ceremony, even when it means leaving work early, losing hours, asking coworkers to cover your shift, because someone has to be there. Someone has to show up for him. You teach him to ride a bike, to swim, to tie his shoes, to shake hands and look people in the eye, to say please and thank you, to be kind even when life hasn't been kind to him. You sit with him through nightmares, through nights when he wakes up crying, asking where his mom is, why she doesn't call anymore. You don't have answers. You just hold him. Tell him you're there, that you're not going anywhere. I remember one night in particular. Marcus was 8. He'd been with me for 2 years. We'd just watched a movie, some Disney thing about a family. Afterward, he went to bed without complaint, like always. At 2 a.m., I heard screaming. I ran to his room. He was sitting up in bed, eyes wide, tears streaming down his face. But he wasn't really awake. Night terror. The therapist had warned me about these. Marcus, sweetie, it's okay. You're safe. You're home. He looked at me, but didn't see me. Where's my mom? I need my mom. I'm here. I'm right here. You're not my mom. He was sobbing now. You're not my mom, and she's gone, and I don't know where she is. I sat on the edge of his bed, didn't try to touch him yet. The therapist said not to during night terrors. Just be present. Be calm. You're right. I'm not your mom. I'm your Aunt Claire, and I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. She left me. She didn't want me. That's not true. Your mom loves you. She's not able to take care of you right now. But I am, and I will, for as long as you need me. He finally focused on me, really saw me. Promise? I promise. He fell back asleep. I stayed in his room the rest of the night, sitting in the chair by his bed, making sure he knew someone was there. That's what 20 years looks like. Hundreds of nights like that. Thousands of moments where you show up even when you're exhausted, even when you don't know what you're doing, even when you're scared you're not enough. You buy him his first phone when he's 13, not because you want to, but because every other kid has one and you don't want him to be left out. You add him to your plan. That's an extra $40 per month. The phone becomes a battleground. Screen time arguments, inappropriate content. The first time he lies to you about who he's texting, you realize he's becoming a teenager, and teenagers lie, and you have to figure out how to handle it without overreacting, but also without being a pushover. You take away the phone for a week. He says he hates you. First time he's ever said that. It hurts more than you expected. I know you think you hate me right now, you tell him, but I'm still going to be here, still going to love you, still going to set boundaries because that's what parents do. You're not my parent. I'm the closest thing you've got, so yeah, I am. He storms off, slams his door. You sit at the kitchen table and wonder if you're doing this right. The next morning, he apologizes. Sorry I said I hated you. I don't. I was just mad. I know. It's okay to be mad. It's not okay to be cruel. Okay. And Marcus, I'm going to keep setting boundaries, even when you hate me for it, because I love you more than I need you to like me. He nods. Doesn't quite understand yet. Won't understand for years. But someday he will. You pay for his braces, $3,800 over 2 years. Insurance covers half. You pay the rest in installments, $58 per month for 40 months. The first time the braces go on, he cries. Not from pain, from embarrassment. He's convinced he'll be ugly, that kids will make fun of him, that no girl will ever like him. Listen to me, you say. Braces are temporary. You know what's not temporary? Having teeth that are so crooked you can't eat properly. Having a bite that causes headaches. Having a smile you're ashamed of your whole life. But everyone will stare. Everyone will forget in a week. Trust me. You're right. they do forget. By the end of the month, Marcus has stopped mentioning the braces. By the end of the year, they're just part of him. When they come off, he looks at himself in the mirror and smiles, really smiles. For the first time in his life, he's not self-conscious about his teeth. "Thank you," he says, "for making me do this even when I didn't want to." That's what moms do. We make you do the hard things because we love you. You're like my mom. I am your mom in all the ways that matter. You teach him to drive. You sit in the passenger seat of your used Honda, gripping the door handle, trying not to scream as he learns to parallel park. You pay for driver's ed because you want him to be safe. That's $400. The first time he takes the car out alone, you don't sleep. You sit on the couch, phone in hand, waiting for him to text that he's arrived at his friend's house safely. When the text comes, "Here, thanks for letting me drive," you finally breathe. Being a parent, you realize, is a constant state of low-level terror. Every time they leave the house, you wonder if they'll come back. Every decision they make, you wonder if it's the right one. Every milestone they reach, you're proud and terrified in equal measure. You buy him his first car, a 2004 Toyota Corolla with 140,000 miles. It's all you can afford. The transmission is starting to slip. The AC doesn't work. There's a crack in the windshield. He complains it's not cool. You tell him it runs, and that's what matters. You pay for insurance, registration, repairs when the transmission finally goes and you have to spend $1,200 you don't have to fix it. This is what cars cost, you tell him. This is what being responsible looks like. Someday you'll have your own car and you'll understand. You help him apply to colleges. You sit with him for hours filling out FAFSA forms. You provide your tax returns because he's still your dependent. You write letters to financial aid offices explaining his situation, explaining why he deserves help. My nephew Marcus came to live with me when he was 6 years old. His mother was unable to care for him due to personal circumstances. I have raised him as my own son for the past 12 years. We are not wealthy. I am a single nurse, but Marcus is brilliant, hardworking, and deserves the opportunity to attend college. Please consider him for financial aid. You send that letter to 8 different schools. Attach documentation, proof of income, proof of guardianship, such as it is. You never formally adopted Marcus, but you have enough paperwork to prove he's lived with you for 12 years. You cry when he gets his acceptance letters. Oregon State, University of Oregon, Portland State. He has options. He has a future. You're so proud you can barely breathe. On the day you drop him off at college, you help him carry boxes up 3 flights of stairs to his dorm room. You meet his roommate, a kid from California who seems nice enough. You make the bed, hang posters, set up his desk. I think that's everything, you say, looking around the tiny dorm room that will be his home for the next year. Thanks, Aunt Claire, for everything. You hug him. Try not to cry in front of him. You're going to do great. Call me if you need anything at all. I will. You drive home alone. The car feels empty without him. The apartment feels empty without him. Your whole life feels empty without him. But you're proud. You did it. You raised him. He's launched. He's going to be okay. And you cry the whole drive home because you miss him already and he's only been gone for 3 hours. You keep paying for things, his phone bill, his car insurance, gas money when he's broke, textbooks, a new laptop when his old one dies, groceries when he comes home for weekends and raids your fridge. You support his decisions even when you don't understand them. He changes his major 3 times. Philosophy, then business, then back to philosophy, then finally marketing. You don't judge, you just listen. You're there for his graduation. You sit in the stands at Gill Coliseum with thousands of other parents, and you scream when his name is called. You take 100 photos. You take him to dinner afterward and tell him you're proud of him. You are. You're so proud. You help him find his first apartment. You co-sign the lease because he doesn't have credit history. You give him your old furniture, your old dishes, your old towels, everything he needs to start his life. You help him get his first job. You review his resume. You practice interview questions with him. When he gets the job, marketing coordinator at a tech startup, you celebrate. You take him to dinner. You pay. You're there when his mom shows up, out of nowhere. After 15 years of barely calling, barely existing, Rachel appears, decides she wants a relationship with her son. Marcus is confused, angry, hopeful. You support him. You tell him it's okay to give her a chance, even though it breaks your heart, even though you're terrified she'll hurt him again. She does hurt him. Of course she does. She's around for 6 months, makes promises, breaks them, disappears again. Marcus calls you crying. You drive to his apartment. You sit with him. You don't say, "I told you so." You just hold him while he grieves the mother he never really had. You help him save for a house. When he decides he wants to buy instead of rent, you sit with him and go over budgets. You explain mortgages, down payments, closing costs. You help him save. You contribute $5,000 to his down payment fund. An early inheritance, you call it. He hugs you, thanks you, calls you the best. You co-sign his mortgage. Because his credit is good, but not quite good enough. Because interest rates are high and every little bit helps. You sign your name on the dotted line, making yourself legally responsible for his debt if he defaults. You don't hesitate. You help him move in. You paint walls. You assemble furniture from IKEA. You hang curtains. You stay until midnight, making sure everything is perfect. You're proud. You're so incredibly proud. This kid who came to you at 6 years old, traumatized and confused, is now a homeowner, has a good job, has a life. You did that. You helped make that happen. And then he invites you to dinner. "Hey, Aunt Claire," he texts. "Would love to have you over for dinner at the new place. Saturday at 6? I'm cooking." I'm thrilled. Of course I say yes. I ask what I can bring. "Just yourself, maybe wine if you want. I'm making salmon with this recipe I found." I show up at 6 p.m. on Saturday with a bottle of nice Pinot Noir, $22, which is more than I usually spend, but this feels special. I also bring a homemade apple pie because that's what you do. You don't show up to someone's house empty-handed. The house looks good, really good. Marcus has always had decent taste, but this is next level. New furniture, art on the walls, plants that look healthy, which surprises me because he killed every plant I ever gave him in college. His girlfriend, Emma, I'd met her twice before, greets me at the door. She's nice enough, works in tech, makes good money from what Marcus has mentioned. They've been dating for a year. "Claire, so good to see you. Come in, come in." Marcus is in the kitchen. I hand her the wine and pie. She takes them with a smile that doesn't quite reach her eyes. I think nothing of it at the time. Maybe she's nervous. First time hosting me in their house. Marcus comes out of the kitchen. He's wearing an apron. Actually wearing an apron, and it makes me want to cry because I remember teaching him to cook in my tiny apartment kitchen. Boxed mac and cheese at first, then scrambled eggs, then real food. And now here he is, hosting dinner, looking like an adult. "Aunt Claire," he hugs me. "Thanks for coming. Dinner's almost ready. Make yourself comfortable." The house is immaculate, spotless, everything arranged just so. Very different from his college apartments, which were disasters of dirty dishes and questionable furniture. We sit down to dinner. The dining table is set beautifully. Real cloth napkins, matching plates, wine glasses, a centerpiece with flowers. It's lovely. It's perfect. Marcus serves salmon with asparagus and roasted potatoes. It's actually good. I tell him so. I tell him I'm impressed. I tell him I'm proud. Well, I learned from the best, he says, and I feel warmth spread through my chest because that's what I want. I want him to remember. I want him to know how much I love him. Emma joins us. The conversation is pleasant, surface level. They tell me about the house, about their jobs, about a trip they're planning to Hawaii. I listen. I ask questions. I drink wine. I eat pie. When I leave at 9 p.m., I hug them both. I thank them for a lovely evening. I tell Marcus I'm proud of the home he's built. Thanks for coming, Aunt Claire. Love you. Love you too, kid. I drive home feeling happy, feeling like I did something right, like all those years of struggle and sacrifice were worth it because look at him now. Look at what he's become. 2 days later, I get the invoice. At first, I think it's a mistake, some app glitch, something Emma set up that accidentally sent to me instead of to their roommate or whatever. But then the text comes, the cheerful, oblivious text asking if I received it, explaining they're tracking expenses now as homeowners. I call him. He doesn't answer. I text. Marcus, did you seriously send me a bill for dinner? Yeah, I know it seems formal, but Emma read this book about financial boundaries, and we're trying to be better about not subsidizing our friends and family. We're not rich yet, LOL. Hope you understand. I stare at my phone, read the message again and again. Not subsidizing friends and family. I'm family. I'm the family who raised him, fed him, clothed him, paid for his braces and his college textbooks and his down payment. And he's worried about subsidizing me for an $87 dinner? I try calling again. This time, he answers. Hey, Aunt Claire, what's up? Marcus, we need to talk about this invoice. Oh, yeah, I figured you might have questions. It's really not a big deal. We're just trying to be more mindful about expenses. You're charging me for dinner at your house that I was invited to. Right. We're hosting more now, and we realized it adds up. Food, utilities, time. We just think it's fair if everyone contributes. Everyone contributes. Yeah, we're doing it with all our guests. My buddy Tom came over last week, and he paid his share. It's not personal. Marcus, I brought wine and a pie I made from scratch. That took 3 hours. I know, and that was super nice. We'll include that as a credit on the next invoice if you come over again. I'm silent, trying to process, trying to understand. Aunt Claire, you still there? I'm here. Marcus, do you realize how insane this is? It's not insane. It's just being financially responsible. Emma's family does this all the time. Emma's family charges each other for dinner? They share expenses equitably. Everyone pays their fair share. Nobody feels taken advantage of. Taken advantage of? Yeah, you know how it is. When you're always the one paying for stuff and people just expect it. And something in me breaks. Some restraint I'd been holding for 20 years finally snaps. You're right, Marcus. I do know how it is. When you're always the one paying for stuff and people just expect it. Exactly. So you get it. I do get it, which is why I'll be sending you an invoice for the last 20 years. What? You want fair? You want everyone to pay their share? Great. Let's do that. Let's calculate exactly what you owe me. Aunt Claire, that's not what? Not fair? You're right. It's not fair. But apparently we're doing fair now, so get ready. I hang up. And then I start calculating. I sit at my kitchen table with a notebook and a calculator and 20 years of bank statements and credit card bills and receipts I'd saved for tax purposes, and I start adding it up. Housing. I moved to a bigger apartment for him. $400 extra per month for 14 years until he left for college. That's $67,200. Furniture, his bed, his desk, his dresser, $1,500. Food, I fed him for 20 years. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. Let's be conservative. $200 per month for food, just for him. That's $2,400 per year, times 20. That's $48,000. Clothes. Kids grow. He needed new clothes every year. Shoes every 6 months. Winter coats, rain gear. Let's say $800 per year. That's $16,000. Medical, insurance, copays, prescriptions, therapy, dental, braces. Let's say $3,000 per year. That's $60,000. School supplies, $200 per year. That's $4,000. Extracurriculars, soccer, Boy Scouts, summer camp 1 year. Let's say $1,000 per year. That's $20,000. Birthday parties. Let's say $300 per party, times 20. That's $6,000. Christmas. $500 per year on gifts, times 20. That's $10,000. His first car. $4,500. Car insurance for 3 years while he learned to drive and through college. $200 per month. That's $7,200. Gas money, repairs. Let's say $1,000 per year for 3 years. That's $3,000. College contribution, FAFSA didn't cover everything. I paid for textbooks, a laptop, dorm supplies, sent him money for food. Let's say $5,000 per year for 4 years. That's $20,000. Down payment on his house, $5,000. I added up. Housing, $67,200. Furniture, $1,500. Food, $48,000. Clothes, $16,000. Medical, $60,000. School supplies, $4,000. Extracurriculars, $20,000. Birthday parties, $6,000. Christmas gifts, $10,000. Car and related, $14,700. College contribution, $20,000. Down payment, $5,000. Total, $272,400, not including my time, not including emotional labor, not including the hundreds of intangible things you do for a child that can't be measured in dollars, just the receipts, just the things I can prove. I open Excel, create a proper invoice, make it look professional, official. Invoice from Claire Morrison to Marcus Chen. Date, November 17th, 2024. Invoice number 001. 4. Child Care and Related Services, 2004 to 2024. Itemized charges. Housing, 2004 to 2018. $67,200. Furniture and household items, $1,500. Food and groceries, 20 years, $48,000. Clothing and shoes, 20 years, $16,000. Medical, dental, therapy, $60,000. School supplies and fees, $4,000. Extracurricular activities, $20,000. Birthday celebrations, 20 parties, $6,000. Holiday gifts, 20 Christmases, $10,000. Vehicle purchase and insurance, $14,700. College expenses, $20,000. Home down payment assistance, $5,000. Subtotal, $272,400. Family discount, 80%. Negative $217,920. Amount due, $54,480. Payment terms, net 30 days. Late fee, 2% per month. Note, this invoice reflects actual documented expenses for raising you from age 6 to 26. A family discount of 80% has been applied because I love you and didn't do this for money. However, since we're apparently tracking expenses and ensuring fair contributions now, I wanted you to be aware of the actual cost of the care you received. If you'd like to discuss a payment plan, I'm happy to arrange terms. With love, Aunt Claire. I attach it to an email. My finger hovers over the send button. Am I really doing this? Yes. Yes, I am. I hit send. Then I wait. 5 minutes pass. Then 10. Then my phone rings. Marcus. I answer. Aunt Claire, what the fuck? I've never heard him swear at me before. Not once in 20 years. Hi, Marcus. Did you receive the invoice? This isn't funny. I agree. It's not funny. Neither was receiving a bill for dinner. That's completely different. How? Because you're family. You don't charge family. Interesting. Tell me more about that concept. Silence. Marcus? That's not fair. You know that's not fair. Fair? You sent me an invoice for $87 because we're being financially responsible now, because everyone should pay their fair share. I'm just following your lead. That's not the same thing. Why not? Because you're an adult. I was a child. You were a child who needed care. Care that costs money. Care that I provided without asking for repayment. Until now. You can't just... I applied an 80% family discount. That's more than fair. The actual total was $272,400. You're getting a steal. This is insane. You're being insane. Am I? Or am I just applying your logic consistently? Emma said, Emma, right. Let me guess. Emma's family is wealthy. Emma's parents didn't struggle. Emma doesn't understand what it means to sacrifice for someone who isn't your biological child because you love them. That's not... Marcus, I don't want your money. I never did. I didn't raise you expecting repayment, but I also didn't expect to be charged $87 for the privilege of eating dinner with you. Do you see how that feels? Silence again. Longer this time. Aunt Claire, his voice is smaller now. I didn't mean to hurt you, but you did. Emma just thought, Emma doesn't get to make decisions about our relationship. You do. And you decided I was a guest who needed to pay her tab. It wasn't like that. That's exactly what it was like. I can hear him breathing on the other end of the line. I'm sorry, he finally says. Are you? Yes, I'm sorry. That was shitty of me. I wasn't thinking. You weren't thinking about how it would feel. You were thinking about a financial system Emma read about in a book. And you applied it to me without considering that I'm not your buddy Tom. I'm the person who raised you. I know. Do you? Yes, I know, and I'm sorry, really sorry. I'll cancel the invoice. Good. Will you cancel yours? I think about it. Yes, Because unlike you, I understand what family means. That's not fair. Marcus, I need to go. I'm working a double shift tomorrow and I need sleep. When you're ready to have a real conversation about this, call me. But not before you figure out what you actually want to say. I hang up. And then I cry. For the first time in this whole mess, I let myself cry. Because I'd thought I was doing it right. I'd thought I was raising him to be kind, thoughtful, grateful. To understand that family shows up for each other. That love isn't transactional. And somehow, despite everything, I'd failed at teaching him the most important lesson. The fallout was immediate. Marcus called the next day. I didn't answer. He texted. I didn't respond. He showed up at my house. I didn't open the door. Aunt Claire, please, can we talk? I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Not yet, I called through the door. I'm still processing. On day 3, my phone rang. Rachel. Claire, what the fuck did you do to my son? Your son? Marcus. He called me crying. Said you invoiced him for raising him. He invoiced me first, for dinner. What? I explained, the whole story. Rachel was silent for a long moment. That's, she laughed, actually laughed. That's the most Marcus thing I've ever heard. It's not funny, Rachel. No, you're right, it's not. But Claire, you don't actually want money from him, do you? Of course not. I want him to understand what he did. And you think an invoice teaches him that? I think it shows him how absurd his logic was. Maybe. Or maybe it just hurts him the same way his invoice hurt you. And now you're both hurting and nobody's learned anything. I hate when Rachel is right. It happens so rarely that when it does, it's especially annoying. What should I do? Talk to him, like adults. Tell him how you feel. Let him tell you how he feels. Figure it out. When did you become wise? I've had a lot of therapy. Turns out abandoning your kid comes with guilt. Who knew? Despite everything, I smile. Thanks, Rachel. Thank you for everything you did for him. I mean that. I wasn't there. You were. He's lucky to have you. Yeah, well, he has a weird way of showing it. He's 26. They're all idiots at 26. He'll figure it out. On day 4, I called Marcus. Can you come over? We should talk, face to face. Really? Really. He showed up 20 minutes later. Emma wasn't with him. Good. We sat at my kitchen table, the same table where I'd helped him with homework for years, where we'd eaten breakfast before school, where I'd taught him to play cards. I'm sorry, he said immediately. I'm so sorry. I was an idiot. You were. Emma has this thing about boundaries. Her therapist told her she needs to set financial boundaries with people. Her family they're kind of dysfunctional about money, always asking her for loans and never paying her back. So she's been working on saying no. That's healthy. It is, but I think I took it too far. I was trying to be supportive of her boundaries, but I applied them to everyone, including you. And that wasn't fair. No, it wasn't. The thing is, he looked at his hands, I don't think I ever properly thanked you for everything. I just assumed you knew, assumed it was obvious how grateful I am. Marcus, let me finish, please. He took a breath. When I was a kid, I didn't understand what you were doing. I just thought that's what adults do. They take care of kids. I didn't realize how hard it was, how much you sacrificed, how much of your life you gave up for me. I didn't give up anything. You did. You gave up dating, career opportunities, money, time. You gave up everything to make sure I was okay. And I never said thank you. Not really. You didn't have to. I did. I do. Thank you. Thank you for raising me, for loving me, for being there every single day, for never making me feel like a burden, even though I'm sure sometimes I was. You were never a burden. I was. Kids are burdens sometimes. That's okay. That's normal. But you never made me feel it. You made me feel wanted, and I took that for granted. I was crying now, quiet tears running down my face. The invoice was stupid, he continued. Emma and I talked about it. She feels terrible. She said she never meant for me to charge you. She thought I was talking about friends, about people who use us. She didn't realize I'd apply it to you. Marcus, I need to know, do you actually believe that's how things should work? That every interaction has to be financially balanced? No, I don't. I was being an idiot, trying to be a grown-up and completely missing the point of what being a grown-up actually means. Which is? Taking care of people you love without keeping score. That's what you taught me, even if I forgot it for a minute. I reached across the table, took his hand. I'm sorry too, I said, for the invoice. That was petty. It was perfect. It showed me exactly how ridiculous I was being. I read it and immediately understood. You did? Yeah, the family discount especially. That killed me. Because you actually gave me a discount on something you should never have charged me for in the first place. Just like I should never have charged you. So we're okay? Are we? I'm worried I damaged something. Between us. Marcus, you can't damage what we have. Not with one stupid invoice. You'd have to do a lot worse than that. Like what? I don't know. Become a serial killer? Join a cult? Vote Republican? He laughed. Actually laughed. I'm a disappointment, but I'm not that bad. You're not a disappointment. You're learning. That's what your 20s are for. I'm going to do better. I promise. I know you will. Can I make it up to you? Marcus, you don't have to. I want to. Let me cook you dinner. A real dinner. No invoice. Okay. And I want to start a tradition. Every Sunday. Dinner at my place. Or your place. Or we switch off. No money, no tracking, just family. I'd like that. We hugged, long and tight, the way we used to when he was little and needed comfort. I love you, Aunt Claire. Thank you for everything. I love you too, kid. Epilogue. 6 months later, I got another invoice from Marcus. My heart stopped when I saw the subject line. I opened it. Invoice. From Marcus Chen. To Claire Morrison. Date, May 15th, 2025. Invoice number 002. For being the best aunt in the world. Itemized charges. 20 years of unconditional love. Priceless. Hundreds of packed lunches. Priceless. Every school play attended. Priceless. Every nightmare comforted. Priceless. Teaching me to be a decent human. Priceless. Tolerating my idiocy. Priceless. Total amount due. Can never be repaid. Payment terms. Lifetime of gratitude. Notes. I'm sorry it took me 26 years to properly say thank you. I'm sorry I was an entitled asshole for a minute there. I'm sorry I ever made you feel like your love had a price tag. You deserved better than that invoice. You deserve everything. I can't pay you back for what you did for me. But I can promise to pay it forward. To show up for the people I love, to give without counting. To be the kind of person you raised me to be. Thank you for everything. I love you. Marcus. I called him immediately. You made me cry at work, I said. I'm in the ICU crying in front of a patient. Do you know how unprofessional that is? Sorry, not sorry. Come over for dinner tonight. What's on the menu? Something you'll actually like, and definitely not salmon. Deal. No invoice? No invoice. Not ever. That's not how we work. That's not how we work, he repeated. I'm going to remember that. Good, because I'm going to keep reminding you. I love you, Aunt Claire. I love you too, Marcus. See you at 6. That night, Marcus showed up with flowers. Not fancy ones, just a grocery store bouquet. But it was the thought that mattered. Emma came too. She'd asked if she could. I need to apologize in person, she'd told Marcus. I want Aunt Claire to know I never meant for any of this to happen. Over dinner, pasta carbonara, Marcus's favorite from when he was little, Emma explained. My family is really dysfunctional about money, she said, twisting her napkin in her hands. My parents used to give me money, then hold it over my head. We bought you that car, you owe us. That kind of thing. My siblings would borrow money and never pay me back. I've been working with a therapist on boundaries. That's good, I said. Boundaries are healthy. They are, but I think I overcorrected. I made Marcus think that any financial interaction needed to be tracked. I didn't think about context, about relationships, about the difference between toxic family dynamics and healthy ones. You couldn't have known, I said. You've only been dating Marcus for a year. You don't know our history. I should have asked. Marcus told me you raised him, but I didn't really understand what that meant. I thought you just helped out sometimes. I didn't realize you were basically his mom. I am basically his mom. I know that now, and I'm sorry. What you did for him, what you're still doing for him, it's incredible. My therapist said most people wouldn't have done what you did, wouldn't have taken in a 6-year-old and raised him for 20 years without being asked to. I was asked, by Rachel, and by Marcus in his own way. Kids don't ask to be taken care of. They just need it. And if you're capable of providing it, you do. Not everyone does, Emma said softly. My parents wouldn't have. They'd have called CPS and walked away. Then I'm glad you're not your parents. I'm trying not to be. We finished dinner. Marcus insisted on doing the dishes. It's the least I can do, he said. While he was in the kitchen, Emma leaned forward. Can I ask you something about raising Marcus? Of course. How did you do it? How did you know you were doing the right thing? I didn't. I had no idea what I was doing half the time. I just tried to show up, to be consistent, to make him feel safe. Were you scared? Terrified. Every day. I was 32. I'd never wanted kids, never planned for kids. And suddenly I had a traumatized 6-year-old who needed everything. I was convinced I was going to screw it up. But you didn't. I did, plenty of times. I lost my temper, I forgot things, I made bad decisions, but I was there, and I think that's what mattered most. Marcus talks about you all the time, Emma said. He says you saved his life. I didn't save his life. I just gave him a stable place to grow up. That's the same thing. Maybe she was right. After they left, I sat at my kitchen table with a cup of tea and thought about the last 6 months, the hurt, the anger, the reconciliation. And I realized something. The invoice incident, as stupid and painful as it was, had forced us to have conversations we'd never had before, about expectations, about gratitude, about what family means, about the difference between keeping score and being responsible. We'd needed those conversations. We just needed them to happen before Marcus sent me a bill for salmon. But better late than never. The Sunday dinners became a real tradition. Every week, Marcus and Emma came over, or I went to their place. Sometimes we cooked together. Sometimes we ordered takeout. Sometimes we just sat and talked. One Sunday, about 8 months after the invoice incident, Marcus brought up something unexpected. Aunt Claire, Emma and I have been talking about the future, about kids. You're having a baby? My heart leapt. No, not yet, but someday. And when we do, he looked at Emma. She nodded encouragingly. We want you to be Grandma, officially. Like, that's what the kids will call you. Not Great Aunt Claire, just Grandma. I couldn't speak, just sat there with tears streaming down my face. We know you're technically my aunt, Marcus continued, but you've been my mom in every way that counts, so it makes sense that you'd be Grandma to our kids. I'd love that, I finally managed. I'd love that so much. And we were thinking, when we do have kids, would you help us? Not financially, we can handle that, but with advice, with support, with being there. Of course, anything you need. We want to do it differently than how I grew up, not with chaos and abandonment, but we also don't want to be so rigid about boundaries that we forget what family is for. Family is for showing up, I said, for being there when it matters, for giving freely without expecting return. Exactly. And that's what we want to teach our kids, what you taught me, even if it took me a while to remember it. 3 months ago, Marcus and Emma got engaged. He asked me to help him pick out the ring. We spent a Saturday afternoon going to jewelry stores, looking at diamonds, talking about Emma's taste. I want something meaningful, he said, not just expensive, something that shows I understand her. We found it, a sapphire instead of a diamond. Emma had mentioned once that she loved sapphires. Most men wouldn't have remembered that detail. Marcus did. You raised me to pay attention, he said, to listen, to remember the small things. I raised you to love people well. Looks like it worked. The proposal was perfect. He took her to the same beach where they'd had their first date. Got down on one knee at sunset. She said yes before he even finished asking. At their engagement party, Marcus gave a speech. I want to thank everyone for coming, especially my Aunt Claire. Claire, can you stand up? I did, embarrassed by the attention. This woman raised me, Marcus said, from age 6 to 26 and counting. She fed me, clothed me, loved me, and put up with me being an idiot more times than I can count, including the time I sent her an invoice for dinner at my house. The room laughed. Emma had told the story to a few people. It had spread. I learned something important from that incident, Marcus continued. I learned that family isn't about money. It's not about transactions or invoices or keeping score. It's about showing up. It's about giving freely. It's about loving people even when they make mistakes. He looked directly at me. Aunt Claire taught me that. She taught me that family means being there, no matter what. No questions asked, no invoice required. And I'm grateful every single day that she chose to be there for me. To Aunt Claire, he raised his glass, the best mom a kid could ask for. To Aunt Claire, the room echoed. I was crying again. I seem to cry a lot these days. Happy tears, proud tears, grateful tears. After the party, Marcus pulled me aside. I have something for you. He handed me an envelope. If this is another invoice, open it. Inside was a check for $54,480, the exact amount from my counter invoice. Marcus, what? It's the family discount amount, the 80% I saved according to your invoice. I'm giving it to you as a thank you for everything. I can't accept this. Please, let me do this. You spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on me. Let me give something back, not as payment, as gratitude. Marcus, I've been saving for 2 years, ever since I got my job. I wanted to do something for you, something meaningful. This felt right. I looked at the check. $54,480. What am I supposed to do with this? Whatever you want. Take a vacation, retire early, fix your car. I don't care. Just know that I see you. I see everything you did, and I'm grateful." I hugged him, long and tight. "Thank you, not for the money, for becoming the man I hoped you'd be. I had a good teacher." Last week, Rachel called me. "I hear Marcus is getting married." "He is, in June. You're invited if you want to come." "Does he want me there?" "He said he'd like you to come, but only if you're ready. Only if you can handle it without making everything about you." Harsh. Honest. She was quiet for a moment. "I've been sober for 8 months." "Rachel, that's wonderful." "It's hard, really hard, but I'm doing it. And part of recovery is making amends. So I wanted to call you to say thank you for taking care of my son when I couldn't." "You're welcome." "And to say I'm sorry for putting that burden on you, for disappearing, for not being the mom he needed." "You're apologizing to the wrong person. Marcus is the one who needed a mom." "I know. I'm going to call him next. But I wanted to start with you because you saved him. And maybe you saved me too. By being there for him, you gave me space to get my shit together, even if it took me way too long. You're getting it together now. That's what matters." "Will you be at the wedding?" "I'm the mother of the groom." She laughed. "Yeah, you are." Yesterday, Marcus stopped by unannounced. He had something to show me. "Emma and I were cleaning out some boxes. Found this. Thought you'd want to see it." He handed me a piece of construction paper, old, yellowed, carefully preserved in a plastic sleeve. It was a Mother's Day card from 2nd grade, 20 years old. "To the best mom," it read in wobbly 7-year-old handwriting. "Thank you for taking care of me. I love you, Marcus." Below the words was a crayon drawing, a woman and a boy holding hands. The woman had curly hair like mine. The boy had a giant smile. "I made this for you in school," Marcus said. "The teacher said we had to make Mother's Day cards. I asked if I could make one for you instead of my mom. She said yes." "I remember this. You gave it to me and then got embarrassed and ran to your room. I was afraid you'd be mad, that you'd say you weren't my mom." "What did I say?" "You said you loved it. You said you'd keep it forever. And then you hung it on the fridge." "I did keep it forever. I have a box of your stuff in the closet. Every card you ever made me. Every drawing, every report card." "I know. I found the box when I was helping you move last year. I didn't realize you'd kept everything." "Of course I kept everything. You were my kid. That's what parents do." He looked at me with shining eyes. "I know I say it a lot, but thank you for being my mom, even when I called you Aunt Claire, even when I forgot to appreciate you, even when I sent you an invoice for dinner. Especially then, that's when you needed me most. I always needed you. I just didn't always realize it. You realize it now. That's enough." We sat at my kitchen table, the same table where I'd helped him with math homework and taught him to play cards and made him breakfast before school. The table where we'd had our big fight about the invoice. The table where we'd made up. The table where we'd become a family. "Aunt Claire?" "Yeah?" "When Emma and I have kids, will you tell them about this? About the invoice? About how I was an idiot but learned better?" "Why would I do that?" "Because I want them to know. I want them to understand that family means showing up. That love isn't about money. That their dad learned that lesson the hard way, but learned it well." "I'll tell them, but only if you tell them the rest of the story too." "What rest?" "That even when you made a mistake, I loved you. That even when you hurt me, I didn't give up on you. That family means second chances and third chances and as many chances as it takes." Deal. And you know what? He did learn. He learned it well. I raised a kid who could recognize when he was wrong and apologize, who could learn and change, who understood that love isn't a transaction, who knew that some things can't be invoiced. They can only be given freely completely, without keeping score. That's what family means. That's what love means. And finally, Marcus understood that too. The wedding is in 2 months. I'm wearing a dress I can actually afford because Marcus's check is still in my bank account. I'm saving it for their first child, for a college fund, for something that keeps the love moving forward. Because that's what you do with gifts from your kids. You use them to take care of the next generation. You show them that family is a circle, not a ledger. You teach them that love multiplies when you give it away. And you hope, you pray, that they'll learn it faster than Marcus did, without needing an invoice to understand it.